is this on? Who let me know about this on? And Region Life on Twitter. Big shout out, Mayor Jerome Prince. A lot of other people are supporting this. So come on out 3:30. Watch Claudine and Jackie Brown at Jay's Breakfast Club as a part of the Gary International Black Film Festival Summer Throwback Film Series. Well, now I've got that out of the way. We gotta get into the actual news, folks. Our former president, Donald J. Trump, has been charged with 7 counts relating to mishandling of classified documents, according to 2 people familiar with the indictment but not authorized to speak publicly about it. The charges themselves are unclear and remain under seal, one person says. Trump announced on his media site, Truth Social, on Thursday night that the DOJ lawyers had informed his legal team that he had been indicted. He said that he's due in court in Miami on Tuesday afternoon. It is not immediately clear what if anyone else would be charged in the case. I mean, you guys really got to hear this statement from Donald Trump. One thing you got to say about Trump is everything he does is going to be bonkers. And this is no different.
Very sadly, we're a nation in decline.
This is no different. This is his statement from, I guess, Mar-a-Lago, I'm guessing. So you got to hear this. You guys really got to hear this.
Very sadly, we're a nation in decline. And yet they go after a popular president, a president that got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country, by far, and did much better the second time in the election than the first. And they go after him on a boxes hoax, just like the Russia hoax and all of the others. This has been going on for 7 years. They can't stop because it's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened. I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person. They had the Mueller hoax, the Mueller report, and that came out. No collusion after 2.5 years. That was set up by Hillary Clinton and Democrats. But this is what they do. This is what they do so well. If they would devote their energies to honesty and integrity, it would be a lot better for our country. They could do a lot better. They could do a lot of great things. But when you look at what's happened to our country in the last 3 years, we were energy independent. We had a strong military that wasn't woke. We were doing so well. We were respected all over the world. Got the biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts in history. And what do? You have a president where an election was taken, got more votes than any sitting president in history by far, never anything even close. And they come after me because now we're leading in the polls again by a lot against Biden and against the Republicans by a lot. But we're leading against Biden by a lot, a tremendous amount. And we went up to a level that they figure the way they're going to stop us is by using what's called warfare. And that's what it is. This is warfare for the law. And we can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. Our country is going to hell. And they come after Donald Trump, weaponizing the Justice Department, weaponizing the FBI. We can't let this continue to go on because it's ripping our country to shreds. We have such big problems, and this shouldn't be one of them. It's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax, just like Russia, just like the fake dossier was a hoax. You saw the Durham report, or the Mueller report. It was all a big hoax. You had 2 impeachments, and they lost and we won. And we had tremendous support. But that was a hoax and a scam. And now they're doing it again. It's just a continuation, 7 years, even after I'm out. But it's called election interference. They're trying to destroy a reputation so they can win an election. That's just as bad as doing any of the other things that have been done over the last number of years, and especially during the 2020 election. So I just want to tell you, I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong. And we will fight this out just like we've been fighting for 7 years. It would be wonderful if we could devote our full time to making America great again. And that's exactly what we did. But now, again, our country is in decline. We're a failing nation. And this is what they do. I'm an innocent man. We will prove that again. 7 years of proving it. And here we go again. Very unfair. But that's the way it is. I just want to thank everybody. We are doing something very special for our country. We're putting America first. I always put America first. And that's why we were in a position. Unfortunately, that position is no longer valid because they've done such a poor job. But we're in a position where we're going to make America great again. I'm innocent, and we will prove that very, very soundly and hopefully very quickly. Thank you very much.
Trump is hilarious, man. I'm not even going to lie. That man is hilarious. Just the way he talks, there is such a bloviation. He uses such hyperbole in virtually everything he says. Everything he does is just so ostentatious and ridiculous. Like, I've always said he was the clown prince of capitalism, and I really truly believe that that's what Donald Trump is. He's he's basically a clown. But anyway, let's get back to the news. Let's keep it professional here. Now, how did this case come about? Officials with the National Archives and Records Administration reached out to representatives for Trump in the spring of 2021 when they realized that important material from his time in office was missing from their collection. According to the Presidential Records Act, White House documents are considered property of the U.S. government and must be preserved. A Trump representative told National Archives in December 2021 that presidential records had been found at Mar-a-Lago. In January 22, the National Archives retrieved 15 boxes of documents from Trump's Florida home, later telling Justice Department officials that they contained a lot of classified material. In May, the FBI and Justice Departments issued a subpoena for the remaining classified documents in Trump's possession. Investigators who went to visit the property weeks later to collect the records were given roughly 3 dozen documents with a sworn statement from Donald Trump's lawyers attesting that the requested information had been returned. But that assertion turned out to be false. With a search warrant, federal officials returned to Mar-a-Lago in August 2022 and seized more than 33 boxes and containers totaling 11,000 documents from a storage room and an office, including 100 classified documents. All in all, roughly 300 documents with classified markings, including some at the very top secret level, have been recovered from Trump's since he left office in January of 2021. So basically, here's the thing, right? And this is something that just recently came out. Donald Trump was bragging on tape about having classified documents. He was bragging about it on tape during an interview. So he can't argue that he didn't know. And so he knew also that these documents were not declassified, which is why he bragged about during the interview that the documents were classified. He said, I got some top secret stuff here. I got some real classified documents. So this is his hubris once again. His arrogance, his vanity, his narcissism once again doing him in. I know what the Trump people are saying. The Trump people are saying that this is a political prosecution, and it probably is. But he's also guilty as hell. From my perspective. Let me say that again. These are not the views of WLTH or the United Urban Network or anybody but me. He seems to be guilty as hell. Okay? So he knew that these were classified documents that he wasn't supposed to have. Now, a lot of people are saying, didn't Joe Biden and Mike Pence, the last two vice presidents, have classified documents too? Well, here's why this is different. After classified documents were found at Biden's think tank and Mike Pence's home here in Indiana, their lawyers notified authorities and quickly arranged for them to be handed over. They authorized other searches by federal authorities to search for additional documents. There is no indication either was aware of the existence of the records before they were found, and no evidence has so far emerged that Biden or Pence sought to conceal the discoveries. That's important because the Justice Department historically looks for willfulness in deciding whether to bring criminal charges. A special counsel was appointed earlier this year to probe how classified materials ended up at Joe Biden's Delaware home and former office. But even if this Justice Department were to find Biden's case prosecutable on the evidence, its Office of Legal Counsel has concluded that a president is immune from prosecution during his time in office. As for Pence, the Justice Department informed his legal team earlier this month that it would not be pursuing criminal charges against him over his handling of the documents. So it's almost like Nixon again. The crime is in the cover-up. Donald Trump knew he had stuff he wasn't supposed to have, bragged about it, was dumb enough to brag about it in an interview, and then tried to conceal the fact after the fact. Now, the even more hilarious thing about all this is that Donald Trump came down hard on Hillary Clinton about the servers. Remember when she was running for president in 2016? Now, you guys know, if you listen to the show, I am no fan of Hillary Clinton whatsoever. So I'm not standing her. But this is a situation where Donald Trump made a huge deal about the handling of classified material when he wanted to lock up Hillary Clinton. And also, Reality Winner. How many of you know who Reality Winner was, who leaked a lot of documents during Russiagate that showed a spear phishing campaign from the Russian government or from Russian hackers during the 2016 election? He prosecuted her to the full extent of the law as well. So Donald Trump is somebody who's sort of symbolic of where we are as a culture right now. So polarized, so corrupt, and just incapable of being able to reconcile the truth. The Trump people will say this is political. I say it's political, and he's guilty. Just like January 6th was political, and he's guilty. Both things can be true. Donald Trump has known since he was running for president, and we've seen this with what we've seen from the Mueller report and now from the Durham report and from all these other things. The establishment never wanted Donald Trump, not because he's such a bad guy, even though he is, but because they know that he is a loose cannon who will say and do anything. They don't hate Donald Trump when he's lying. They hate Donald Trump when he's telling the truth. Joe Biden lies to you every day. Like about what's going on in Ukraine, when they said that Russia was responsible for the Nord Stream pipeline being blown up. And now they're trying to make it seem like Russia blew up its own dam. All this is nonsense. And Joe Biden knows it's nonsense. Well, maybe the people handling Joe Biden definitely know it's nonsense. I don't know exactly what Joe Biden knows at this point. Joe Biden seems to be struggling to understand his name. But the government knows this. Obama lied to you about lots of stuff. George W. Bush lied us into Iraq. Bill Clinton lied to you. Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush. Trump being a liar is not out of the norm. Anybody trying to tell you they don't like Donald Trump because he lies themselves are liars. Because I guarantee you whatever president they do like is just as big of a liar. But, again, the establishment does not like Trump because of the times he would talk about the military-industrial complex, or when he will admit that we were in Syria, which we are still currently occupying a third of Syria, to steal their oil. He said, we're getting the oil. He says the quiet part out loud. He says the racist things that they all think out loud. He does the corruption that they all do out loud. And he knows this. That's why when he was running against Hillary Clinton, he said, look, Hillary took my money. You don't think I know she's corrupt? She took my money. And I'm corrupt. Man, that's absolutely hilarious. Now, does this federal indictment prevent Donald Trump from running for president? Strangely enough, no. It actually doesn't prevent him from running for president. Neither the indictment itself nor a conviction would prevent Trump from running for office or winning the presidency in 2024. As the New York case showed, criminal charges have historically been a boon to his fundraising. The campaign announced that it had raised over $4 million in the 24 hours after the indictment became public, far smashing its previous record after the FBI search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago club. And folks, this is what happens. They've turned Donald Trump into Tupac, as Chris Rock said. You know, you don't make Tupac less popular by putting him in jail. You make him more popular by putting him in jail. And so a lot of this is a political trial. Don't make any, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But Donald Trump at the same time is guilty. And I actually think, even though there are a lot of political agendas involved in this prosecution, I like the idea that there is no class of people in America who are above prosecution. A lot of people seem to have that mentality, well, you know, we can't prosecute Donald Trump because, you know, it'll only make him more popular, or it will send a message to his base and that'll do this, that. I go, look, you cannot have a group of people in this country who know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are above the law. Historically, presidents have thought of themselves as that, like Richard Nixon when he said it's not illegal because the president did it, etc. Well, look, Donald Trump needs to know, just like everybody else needs to know, that even he, a former president of the United States, a billionaire, is not above prosecution. And even if there is some agenda that is behind, some political agenda, a hidden political agenda that's aimed at crippling him politically, that is the motivation, the fact that he is indeed guilty is enough. But what do you think? Give me a call, 219-885-1371. That number again, 219-885-1371. I'll be back in a minute and 30 seconds, and we can talk about my main man running for president, maybe against Donald Trump. Who knows?